All right, cannabis hitting the schedule 1, 2, 3 on that British calendar, 2, 3, 4. So the Most High holiday week is upon us, and I told you about the cannabis quake coming for the second coming of Adania in 2021, 2022. And this is tying into the 1/28/2020 peace deal that Trump did with Israel. Israel's one of the researchers on cannabis or whatever. So this is where you have the Israel that we watch, and the Israel people, and then the people doing genetic tests on their own in their own secret closet with the Father, the Vader, and all those things that's playing out as the forces put upon the earth, and Vader's coming here, and Trump is exposing the church for who they are, and he dressed up like the so-called Jesus, but the Jesus is just showing them that they worship a name and number, and they worship an image, and they say this man and the blah blah blah. Okay, so they're not understanding the spiritual aspect of the book, where it says Jesus speaks in parables, and the first covenant, second covenant, it's all an allegory. Don't worship the book. Woe to those who teach the law. Woe to the scribes. Woe to the Pharisees. That's all you people going into the church with your Bible and holding the so-called two-edged sword over people, okay? So y'all are the ones who are worshiping the dark sun and have no light and can't perform life and worship sin and all this other stuff, as you can't so-called perform sin when Jesus washed away all the sin. So it's just... Either way, the church is part of the today's church that started in the 50s and even before with Billy Graham and all this other stuff. That is part of the falling away. The Howells, Anderson, whatever else, okay? And then we see the church with the Islam, Muslims or whatever. They have perverted their religion just like Christianity. Jews have done the same thing. So it's all been done as this religious war is coming to a head. And the dark sun is controlling these people. It's just where the Hive and the MK Ultra, the M Cultura, and all that kind of stuff is coming together. The Red Queen, all this stuff is coming in. They're loaded down with heavy metals, and they're just being pushed around like robots for that old age. And either way, so the industry of the cannabis and these things, we're going to get into the quantum of light and cannabis we're going to be getting into. So let's just break these things down, because the beast of the sea and the sea of the green are all going together. This 1982, the 280E tax form, that's tying into this. And this is tying into overhead payments and double taxing and all that kind of stuff. So this is where the rec creation, or that ray creation, that light on creation, going from day 1, 2, and 3, and then on the 2, 3, 4, this is lining up some day patterns, and then also that be rightish, kind of not right, but that's where you're placed in the garden, on earth, eastward, but then there's not, that's even more eastward. So depending on all these things, you're taken into a certain level of consciousness. But this is where John the Baptist comes, right? And then Herod and his wife chops off the head. And this is part tying into the baker session for the butler and baker and the noose and all that stuff being done. So this medical thing is basically going to give it over to states' rights in a way, on certain levels. And we see how many states don't allow the medical weed. This can tie into the chakra is the 7-headed beast in a way rising within you, and then the 10 horns on the beast would be the ones connected to no medical and no recreational, those types of things. And then the Lone Star State has some shit program. It's virtually not even there. And then they're getting rid of the smoke screen, and this is where they get rid of the smoke screen. And then you see UK banning smoke, and then this is where vapes and that gay nation, because vapes are pretty gay, but because the flower is where the power is, and the people can't even handle the flower. And this is where all their oil's been taken out from them and being replaced by this pill or this drink, this whatever, okay? And since cannabis works inward, outward, kind of like that fig, then it clears everything out first, including spiritually. And this is where people can't take it emotionally or whatever else, and they're freaking out, and whatever thing is going on with them that some of us never had. Some of us have barely dealt with red eyes, and then y'all are also putting red eyes and shit and whatever in your fucking whatever eyes going on. So there's different things going on here, but this recreation, the medical weed, this is basically establishing them as a legitimate business, so now they can claim taxes normal. All right, so somebody would have to be a fool to stay in the recreational business. So this is where it's a quake and a shift, and it breaks up this kind of landscape on a certain level, and then it brings in this other level through the medical weed, and then medical weed can take it to where in different lab coat situations, and this can set it up, the scheduling 3 can set it up to where we can hopefully make this fully legal and make weed like a damn vegetable, okay? Because there's no reason why any single plant or mushroom or whatever, okay? Nothing should be on, that's a plant, should be on any schedule 1, 2, or 3, okay? So how about put sugar on schedule 3 or something like that, or schedule 1, because they're telling you it's as addictive as whatever, okay? And then if you want sugar, you need to go and buy sugar cane. You need to juice that shit. You need to dry it out, and you need to scrape the crystals up yourself, okay? And then you're not even drinking sugar, and then your body don't even know how to process sugar, and you get diabetes. It goes on and on and on. But we're here to save you people. So, the Amsterdam, the AM, the Morning Star, that kind of being a light. The Amsterdam connects us into that Morning Star and getting that Christos and oil through the male and the God made male and female after he, them. And this is where we got those seeds, and we took that chance card on the Monopoly board and go to jail for free and all those things, right? So as we order those seeds, we went to our secret closet mentioned in 6:6 and prayed to thy Father. And as we prayed to the Father connects you to the Vader and the dark light and all those other things. So let's get into this dark light that's being consumed as the plant is being taken from outdoors to indoors. Because once you understand the quantum level of cannabis, this is where we're actually consuming different lights and electricity on the deepest level, because electricity is a type of liquid or non-liquid and whatever else. We can harness it into a wire, which is basically a pipe. And as we pump this electricity into a light, this is how we see that form, right? So this light, this electricity is coming down onto a plant and it's growing it. And at the quantum level, the plant is very little soil, and it's gases and lights and all this stuff. And so when you consume cannabis or any plant or whatever, it's the light consuming itself, like the black hole consumes itself and whatever else that we've gotten into before. But so understanding these things and understanding the light that we've been in, and how guano and the cave and the bat all started back in the day and did those beasters and those kinds of things starting. So this is all setting up a level as you're going from day 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 4 is on the flip-flop side, and the 4 is where it goes into full legalization to where it should be like a vegetable or whatever. So as you have different lights, you have the HPS, you have the metal halide, and one's used for veg, one's used for flowering. So it's absorbing different energies. You can intermingle it for the flowering cycle. How many hours of light, all those things play a factor on collecting energies. The gardener, talking to his garden, not talking to the garden, how he loves the plants, if he doesn't love the plant, if he's just doing it for fucking money, if his passion is there, if he's growing the fucking dank and all those things. It takes time and love and passion to do this, and this is not what y'all are getting. okay? Y'all are not getting the cure in your fucking weed. You aren't getting the medicine in your weed, and it's because the recreational has come over and has blinded you, okay? And this is where we're seeing all this shit weed, and it's all covered in pesticides. This is going to do some good things for the market, or while it does some bad things and whatever else, but this is going to bring that balance to the force as you're put into the force, okay? And as you're put into the force, Vader comes to you, and the Christos, the Antichrist, and all these things rise as your oils boil, as the oil is boiling within you. And you don't have the right oil, because Jesus is the Most High. But you're getting high on all the wrong things. You're drinking the wrong foods. You're eating the wrong drinks. You're consuming the wrong desserts. You're going to the wrong activities. You're doing the wrong lifestyle. Plain and simple. And that's why you're all miserable. And that's why you're all overweight. Or that's why you're all waking up taking 1 pill to 5 pills to whatever other pills. So, as the quantum of cannabis comes in, you have sun-grown, you have greenhouse grown with the shade cloth, you have shade grown, sun-grown, outdoors like under a tree. You have LED, which looks like a digital light. So all these things are playing together as we are consuming this oil. And then you put bottle nutrients on top of it. And when all this stuff actually happened, I was going from the Matrix, when my 2020 vision or whatever stuff, I was using Vega Matrix, and then I was switching over to the Living Soil and whatever else. But we'll get into some other videos on that kind of stuff. But the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and the bottle fed and organics and bottles and whatever, that's all bullshit or whatever, right? It has to have at least 10%, that's part of that begotten, to keep it stabilized. That stable is that born in the Jesus and whatever else. So this is where that's some type of chemical or whatever is coming into the plant. It's not that it's good or bad, all right? It's just understanding, because knowing is half the battle. Once we understand, then we can move forward and elevate and learn how we want to use this plant and when we want to use it. And it needs to be in a position where we can grow the plant on our own. We need to get the farmers markets back to where the people can actually talk to their farmers and get rid of the storefront bullshit and whatever else is going on. And the crypto community, the blockchain and all this stuff will allow these types of things and these types of freedoms, because you can have a medical community out there where you go to the store, and then you can have a legit medical one that's tracked and whatever else on the farmers markets, okay? So, and then we can start doing the final little test that I've been telling you and getting that Israel and Israel and whatever, because the Israel people have already been doing fucking cannabis testing and know that all y'all are under the brainwashing propaganda of it being stronger and all this other shit. It's not stronger, okay? You are fucking weaker. You are a weak-minded individual. And cannabis is letting you know that when you consume it. Okay? Get the fuck up and start walking it off. All right? It's pretty much that simple. I know the vapes and this gay shit has come over this community, and you have all these dude bras coming in, taking over the industry. You can't grow cannabis being like commercial bullshit, pesticide bullshit, okay? This is where you have all these people using pesticides. They don't even know how to fucking take care of themselves. How can they take care of a fucking garden? They can't. They can't grow the fucking dank. Most of these people have never even had good fucking weed. The people growing it in the that's getting it in the stores or whatever, okay? And if you get good fucking weed, you got to pay $600 or $700 fucking dollars an ounce for it on the recreational price. It's like fucking, come on, guys. All right? But that also takes you back into the old days where to get that fucking dank, it was $1.50 a fucking quarter. All right? And there were people who buy it all day long. So we're going back into that time as the recreational peters out. Then you get, and people start getting the tax breaks that they need, then the price goes down, insurance takes over, price goes up, and then you got that genetic drift and all those other things as you have your day 1, 2, 3, 4 lining up on a mixed max pattern, and day 1 setting up for your genetics and the melon or the that's 4 and whatever 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, and then the male and female made after he them, and that's where you get genetic rifts and the people who actually know how to breed cannabis and back cross smells 1, 2, 3, 4 generations and stabilize in another fashion versus doing this bullshit hybrid fashion. All of oh man, it's just so fucked up. But hopefully all that shit will get fixed and just peter itself out and peter itself in. The dude bras have taken over, and since they can't grow good weed, they got to press it into oil, and even that shit though. So so many things. So as they're being forced up and forced down, they're gonna realize they're growing shit weed, and that's part of the crapture too, because you're basically just smoking beautiful brickweed. Okay, and this is where you're giving over to the image and the worship of the name and number and all those other things. As a little Sparky comes in. And as a little Sparky comes in, the sparkle on the plant, oh, this is good. And then you get it up, like, well, it tastes good, but there's no power. There's no flower in the power. And then it's so terpy. Fuck your terps. Terps are secondary, bro. Either way, dude, and the 280E overhead crowning, this can also be tying into the E's, the 5th letter, so brightish calendar, 2805, that's the May 28th, which ties you into the 148th day and AM Nasty Day, or whatever. The dry sift and the crystals on the plant, that ties into the sands of time, and as you're taking into the sands of time, and that genie and all that shit's gonna rise up inside you, and you're gonna go on that magic carpet ride. And that carpet is already with you as you're sleeping with your beast, and more than likely this the ports and all that shit will make it to where you can't get your flea and tick meds and all that other stuff. So get that lime squeeze. So, also with the cannabis industry, there's very few women growers. All right, so this is like a ball of worship and whatever else, and a lot of the women that grow the weed actually grow better weed than the dudes. So, some things going on there as far as the women not being allowed to speak in the church and the ball worship and the male and female made after he, them, and whatever else kind of bullshit. But, so, I think we hit pretty much the real stuff here. So as the Israel's coming to attest, the Israel and the church and whatever else has been led by this image, the puppet state and whatever. Okay, there's the Israel, sons of God per se, that are getting a light in a way, and the Christos is risen, the oil's risen within us, and at a certain time, we heard the trumpet sound, and the corona dark sun shined a light within us, said, this is it! This is it, babe! I've been waiting for this since I was 14, 15 years old. Can't believe it's here. People don't have a clue. But that's where they're being shown right now as the second coming. Well, do you think he's the Antichrist? I just regret voting for him. And I told you, after he comes, way back when, 2021, 2022, during the second coming prophecies that I told y'all, just like this cannabis quake, it's going to be a time people look back. Ah, shit. And we're here. I regret. Okay, so this is where I regret listening to these people. As I merged with a machine, as the king spirit played his music, and I became possessed. All right? So, with all your possessions. So as the church is being taken, the churches, America, and all those things, okay? It's not just the Christians. The Christians is the so-called synagogue of Satan, all right? But the church of God and whatever else, right? It's where Jesus, trying to come over and try and take control over the system, all right? And the New World Order is already here. The petrodollar and petrosystem, the Baptist cartel, oil man, and all that shit. They're all coming together and trying to control this and go into the new, okay? But it ain't gonna fucking happen. I mean, just all this coming together and what blah, blah, blah is what is needed as far as, I mean, we're already under that one world mechanism and control mechanism, if you have any eyes to see it, because the people are taking this, and this, they're doing this, and this. All the stores in every city are this, and this. Every corner is this, and this. You can't get away from it. So it's just like, if you can't get away from it, you know it's not, it's either got to, the lab's either got to be like blown up in a way, or you got to get the fuck out. Okay, because there's this lab experiment and computer lab and this lab and whatever else is all going on. But the black lab, chocolate lab, white lab, all those will tell a story. Go get your little duckies, little rubber duckies for those condiments, for the condemnation and shit. So they'll let you know what you're eating soon enough. Either way, man, the church is being led by the dark light, and they're going to be going into those 7 chakras, and they're basically going to have their head cut off. And as they, basically, what's going on with the head? Let's get into this real quick. As you're going into the Big Bang session, all right, internally, you're going to go boom. Okay, your head's going to explode. What the fuck? Okay, you're going to be getting all this new information or whatever when they change the algorithm, okay? It's where you're already under the brainwashing, right? You're being taken under the water and being shown everything. This is where y'all are getting a whole new fucking thing, but you're actually given the truth. And then you want the fucking propaganda back, so you want the lie as the truth. Okay, so this is where the Israel is all overlapping, where the false prophets are here now, and they are going to be given. That's the brainwashing mechanism. You're all under the water, and then you think you're going to be taken under the water into the darkness and into the purple rainbow of the chakra that's on the opposite side of the, on the bottom side of the rainbow, not the top side, and it's going to let you all know where you're at. The purple's the royalty and all that kind of stuff, the Sussex, and So as John the Baptist is coming, you're going into the dark purple water, and that royalty, that royal flush for that rapture, that king spirit dying for that scientific search for the face of Jesus, and those types of things, as they're going to be playing upon you as that king spirit has been placed upon you. The dragon has been placed upon you. All these things have manifested within you as they have grown seeds and produced fruits here and there. So the baptism and the brainwashing and the algorithm and this presetting of the dark garden and whatever else, this is where the people are going to go like they're going into that Big Bang, their head's going to explode, getting all this new truthful information that goes against whatever they've been doing, right? And then as they're coming out of the Big Bang session, who knows how long, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, all right? Then it starts coming back into a star, all right, and the head. And then you go and start building the head again, just like you're going into the rebuilding of the temple, which is part of the body. And this is where the foot and clay crush, all right, at the lower part, and then this forms, all right? But this light has to go from there back up to here, and that's where we're at now as far as a world level. And Vader, Trump, the Antichrist, all those things coming into positions, and their lights are going to be shown on the people as far as the Vader. And Trump has already shown them that he's the Luke, the Skywalker and the physician and the doctor and all those things on another level. And this is where they're worshiping that image. So they're exposing the church. I told you all these things were coming for the second coming of Don, to where they expose the church. They let them know who they are, where they're at, and what time it is. And with that, they flip out and they go haywire. And that haywire is where the wheat and tares is gathered for the rapture, and some are going to go up, some are going to go down. Weed and tears. All right, but the tears is tied to those speedos and those floodwaters. So the felons and the minor drug possession and these things that the church hates, and a lot of it is tied to the black market drugs and whatever else that the government has seemed to make illegal. They just want to say, oh, you can't do these, but you can do all these. Okay? So we need to restructure this drug thing going on in our world to where the people are not posted up on the streets, where they have a safe place to do these things. And kind of like what we had back in the day in the clubs, that they were there provided so we can go and roll, and all of a sudden there would be cops in the corner just chilling, watching everybody get fucked up and just like on the floor and all kinds of things, right? All this dark arts, the psychedelics, LSD, the ketamine, mushrooms, cannabis is a hallucinogenic. So all these things are coming in, and your alcohol is a medical thing. You used to have, well, that goes into another thing, but either way, the medical takeover and the medicine and meeting the light and the God and all those things, and where you've been and where you're going, and redoing the temple and redoing the oil, and all those things are all playing a role. Okay? So this is where the people who are getting their spiritualness from the carnal have no spiritualness. And this is where we come in. The people who have internal happiness, that don't get their happiness from codependent nation, like your Nazism or narcissism. All right? But our nation has been grown to be codependent, and everybody is basing their happiness on other people, and we become that fake nation. And we see this physically now with eyelashes, Botox, hair extensions, nails, whatever. All right, that's just on that level. And then we see it where man looks like a certain thing back in the day, right? But now man, that fake person, the obesity, that B-City, that Red Queen that came in and bit everybody or whatever, is coming in doing alteration. And then alteration is for that suitcase. So either way, folks, it's cleanup time. And as it's cleanup time, you've been shown this dark sun, and the real sun, in a way, is going to start shining its light. And as it shines its light, y'all's sun goes dark, and it lets you know where you've been and what you've done. And you got to pay for all your sins, it tells you in Revelation. So this is where that spirit, you're in the John coming, being put on that island, and you got to pay for your sins. So you got to work all that shit off, basically, and you got to work it off with your car dio. And as your car dios, your incarnation of Christ comes, and your petro goes, and your plants come, your plant oils and gases, and all those things are, okay, it's just a, all right, and then we're done 20 years from now. Okay, so the church is just a propaganda machine. They've been led by the devil. And we are here to prove it. And obviously, they are not going to have the prophets on their church who are after the tribulation coming with a new song. Okay? So, try and break this down for you, starting in Genesis 1. Understanding that God, us and our, the light, the male and the female, made after he, them, doing all things is good. And then you got your day 6, 7, sleepy time, going into the garden, taking the man in there, creating Adam from the man, giving them a tree. This is all what you have in your industrial revelation, as you're in that industrial age. And Adam made from the dust. So you take these men in, the dust, you form this. We're going back in time where the sons of God are coming back to the earth in a way. Okay? And as the sons of God come back to the earth, the light shines through them, and then things transform and go into another direction and whatever else. But that's exactly where we're at right now, folks. And the beast system is shut down. The beast men have gone in to retain the ability to buy and sell and to worship the name and number of their house and their evil deeds and all this other stuff. So, as cannabis, it's here to be that tree of life and has the rivers on two sides and is here for the healing of nations. So you'll just get ready.